I've got a good bit to share with you today. I just got back from ceramics, which is a very difficult course for me. We're wheel throwing currently, and it is so messy, and I'm so sloppy at it. I'm trying to get in as many hours as I can, so even though it's a Sunday, I'm going in for at least 4 hours to try and get better at that, and I'm gonna say it's successful, but not completely there yet. I finally figured out what I want to do with books. Like, I wanted to do some video with books, and I decided that I'm going to compare some of the education ones that I have, because that is my major, and I can explain how some of the textbooks have helped me or how I found this particular book. And I also want to just say which ones I've kind of gotten and why I picked them up. And finally, I'm going to do some reviews on just what I felt when reading a particular book and how I felt that went. And I'm going to go ahead and share two books that I picked up yesterday. One is by Michael Crichton, I believe that's how you say it, and it's called the Andromeda Strain. It's a pretty old book, but I think it's still very relevant because it's about outbreaks, and it's not a zombie book, I don't believe, but it talks about how viruses spread, and he usually does a lot of research for his books, so that's why I'm interested in this particular book. And the other one is Wild Swans, and it's about three women in China that are all in the same family, and it's a memoir about China in like the 1920s, I believe, and what was happening politically there. And I don't know much more about it than that, other than one of the women do end up in Britain. So I'm always interested to learn about other culture type books that are memoirs. I haven't had many of them, and I haven't had a chance to read a lot of the ones I do have, but I'm like, I have it when I'm ready to read it. It makes me happy. Anyway, since the last time I talked to you, I've had a friend have a birthday this October, so I went to her house for her party, and I didn't get to spend much time with her, but I had a lot of classmates there, so that's what I spent my time with. And that was a strange night because I ended up staying there way past the party and helping clean up with another girl who's apparently living in the same building as me, but I don't know her that well. And that's probably not the strange part, but I ended up with a plant. If you can see on the windowsill, I don't know why I accepted the plant. I just know that I usually end up killing plants, like every time I get one, and here, we can just see how long it takes me to kill this plant. Because that, you saw the windowsill, there's almost no light on that window after 11, so it's probably only going to get a few hours of light if I'm lucky. And there's also another problem with having it over there is this is a really small room that I'm living in, so I often just leave the windows open 24 hours a day, and it's winter almost, and the temperature is dropping horribly, so it's going to get freezing in my room, and I'm like, I can't leave that plant there. So if I wake up like late or 8, 9, it's just not gonna get sun that day. So poor plant, probably gonna die. We'll see how long it lasts, really. You can also see that pumpkin lighting's horrible, but I'll bring it over. This was like for art club, just carving pumpkins, and my pumpkin's pretty sad. It's been a few days. This was broken off on this side. But poor little pumpkin, not doing too well. And that reminds me, since art and it's October, there's this thing called Inktober. I just found out about it like an hour ago, and apparently you try and do an ink drawing every day in October, and I'm probably not going to participate, but I wanted to share it because ink is my favorite medium, and I would really like to participate, but with trying to do ceramics and painting, I just don't have a reasonable amount of time, and I had to step away to grab these, but I love ink drawing, like I said, and I just wanted to share a few of the pens I have with me. One is this nano liner, and I don't care for this one too much because it bleeds very heavily all the way through the page always, and I think it smudges just a little bit, so I try and save it for bigger areas where it won't do too much damage with it spreading. And then I also have a Zig memory system, and it's a writer. It has two ends. It's like this big fat end and this little end. That's at 0.5. And I really like this one. It doesn't bleed a lot, and it does very nice clean lines. And it's also by one of my favorite brands, which is Zig, and they do these Millennium writers, and those were my favorite pens, but I'm having a hard time finding them. They never wore down, like the tip with microns. If you've ever had those, they kind of split very easily. And there's also like pit pens. If you've ever tried those, they tend to smear on the opposite page of your artwork in sketchbooks and things, and I hate that. That's why I don't draw in pencil very much anymore. And I haven't had either of those problems with the memory system pens, and I really wish I could find them, but I can't, and this is at least by the same brand. And wow, my zoom and autofocus was horrible on that. But I'm going to leave it just because editing is horrible. It's something I hate doing. Sorry about that. I know I would probably be a lot better at this if I wouldn't put more time into it, but I just like to talk and share with what I'm doing and just keep it pretty loose. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to Inktober in the description, and if you want me to link to any books or any other products I'm talking about, just comment below and I can add those in, and I'll see you next time.